What's up, YouTube fans? Today I'm going to be reviewing Unite Warrior's Devastator. I have been waiting for this thing for a long time. You know, the Commander Wars Devastator came out a while ago, and I decided to hold out for this one just because of the differences and the improvements. And I'm really glad I did wait. It did take a long time. I bought this from TF Source, and for whatever reason, it just took a really long time to ship. But it's finally here, so I decided to just do the review right away. I haven't seen any other of the big reviewers review this yet. I saw a couple of Japanese and reviews and some foreign reviews, but I haven't seen a lot of American reviewers. So hoping I get this out early enough that this sparks enough interest. But man, this is I already took a look at this. It looks really awesome, but we'll get started here. The box itself, pretty cool. I think it's actually the same image or a similar image. You got a kind of a car exploding in the back here, and you got a sort of a scene in the back behind Devastator. It does say Takara Tomy up here. Unite Warriors, UW-04. Combiner Devastator is what it says. So pretty neat cover box. On the side, I'm not sure if I can fit this in. It's not much. It just says Unite Warriors. Here's the back, and we're gonna have to look at it sideways. But here's a picture of each individual robot. Each individual robot and vehicle mode. That's pretty cool. And then this image, you know, it's not a, I don't think it's a full-size image or actual size. Well, maybe it is. Actually, it is. So there's you've got a scale here, or a ruler here. And it, right up top, it says 45 centimeters. That's probably not coming across on camera, but it says 45 centimeters. So I guess this is an actual size type of thing. So that's pretty neat. It's got a bunch of Japanese writing, and then it says on off for his visor feature there. But that's about it. Pretty nice back. The images on here aren't so great. They're kind of washed out or a little bit dark. Almost looks like it's copied and pasted on here. So not the greatest back of the box, but front's pretty cool. So we'll get this guy open. It's pretty big, so just bear with me here while I get this guy out. There you go. This guy wants to fall out, so let's just flip him around here. And so here's what you get in the package. You've got almost the same packaging as the Hasbro version. Pretty similar. You've also got this little baggie here. It's got the standard Takara giveaway, which I'm not going to use. And then you've got the instruction booklet. Now, I'm a little disappointed this didn't come with a collector's card. I'm not sure why they didn't include it. The Hasbro version comes with a collector's card. This one doesn't. But on the back here, you've got a nice animation. It doesn't look like it's from the G1 cartoon. It's just an animation. But it is taken from an episode where, forgetting his name right now, the Autobot helped the Constructicons build this structure in the back here. Hoist. I think his name is Hoist. I can't remember. Anyway, they work together. So this isn't an actual shot from G1 cartoon. It's just kind of a drawing, but pretty neat. And then you got the same image on the front that you had on the front of the box. That's about it. And inside you've got instructions all in, looks like Japanese here. And that's about it for the instruction book. I'm going to have to use that later when I transform these guys. So we'll get these guys out of the box. Actually, what's on the back of the box here, let's take these out. And we've got on the back of the box is a little baggie. And if you let's take that thing out here. kind of a weird way to package this thing. You know, it sort of looks cheap. I'm not sure why they did it that way, but guessing it's all there, so we'll get this kind of dumped out here. I was hoping maybe the collector's card was in there, but it's not. So that's about it for the box. So now we'll move on to vehicle mode here and just get everything situated. Alright, it doesn't actually fit in my review area, so let's see if we can get everything lined up. In hand, these were a lot bigger than I thought they were. I thought they were actually small, based on what I saw on camera, but now that I've got them, they're pretty big. So right away, you notice pretty nicely painted, you know, very realistic, especially this guy. This guy really, you know, it's got a nice look to him. It's definitely better than the Hasbro version, and you've got, you still got the peg in the middle, but because they painted the rim silver, it just has a great look to it. And yeah, really nice, realistic looking vehicle mode here. Looks like some of it's not fitting quite right, so we'll have to figure that out. But you know, I just took this out of the box, and it looks like, for example, right here, it's not quite fitting together. I don't know if it wasn't transformed right or if it just popped out because of the way it was sitting in the box, but we'll have to figure that out. But really, it rolls really nicely. And we'll get these other guys out of the way and kind of look at them one at a time. So, well, maybe it doesn't roll nicely. Looks like that something's sticking out. Oh, there we go. It's not quite. So right away, I've got some disappointment here because things aren't perfectly aligned. And this is just right out of the box, so I wonder if I'll have to transform it once into robot mode and then back out in order to get it all situated right. But it does look like things aren't fitting quite right. Well, I don't know. You can see there's a pretty big gap there, and when I try to fix it, it pops up somewhere else, so that's kind of disappointing. But all in all, not too bad. It does roll, but something's not quite lined up right, and that's where you're having this problem here. Not much on the back. The bottom, pretty good. You know, it doesn't really look like a robot. It just, I mean, it has Devastator's waist piece here, but other than that, you know, you can't really tell. It's, you know, not too much kibble. From the side, really nice rims. From the front, I think this is actually my favorite figure, at least from the front. Looking from the front, it actually looks pretty realistic, so I like that. We'll move on to the next figure here. Now, this is Bone Crusher. Right? Yeah. And he also looks pretty good from the front. And also from the side. You know, got some nice silver detail here. They did do this differently than Takara. Than Hasbro. I believe this was all green on the Hasbro version, whereas here they did purple and then green on the outside. Kind of like that. Also the lights. So the purple paint you're seeing here, it's kind of a glossy, shiny paint. And so that's good. Here, we're going to move in here. Yeah, so it's all the paint is pretty shiny, and that's pretty nice. You do see his, you know, chest piece here. And very nicely tampoed Decepticon logo. All in all, pretty good figure. He does have wheels on the bottom here. see if he does roll pretty good, and he does have articulation in the bucket here. That's about it for this guy. Oh, actually no, I'm sorry. This whole piece moves up and down. Maybe that's part of transformation, but you get a little bit of articulation on his bucket here. So that's it for Bone Crusher. Here we've got Hook. This does look pretty good. You've got the, see how he rolls. Oh, looks like he doesn't roll too good. I wonder if this is also, again, either mistransformed or... Well, it's almost like his wheels don't go low enough. I don't know what to say. Maybe my surface here, but he's definitely bottomed out. This piece here is definitely hitting the ground. So I don't know if it's mistransformed or it just doesn't fit perfectly. I mean, looking at that, it looks like the plastic is lower than the wheel. But anyway, still, really nice looking. It's got the silver detail is what kind of makes it stand out. You've got painted headlights here. Not much on the tail lights. Probably could have painted these here, but they didn't. On the bottom, you do have some robot kibble. You got his feet kind of showing. His head is there. Maybe you can turn that around so you can't tell. And you got his head showing. You probably could do that, and then you can't see it. Some nice detail on the hook. I know this is painted differently than the Hasbro version. Now it doesn't do anything. It doesn't move. You can't really extend it, but that's fine. Pretty good for one of 6. Now size-wise, it's pretty good sizing. Let's get a Masterpiece Autobot car and see how it sizes with that. Here is Masterpiece Wheeljack. So probably a little too small to be Masterpiece size. For example, his tires are only slightly bigger, and I would guess that this thing would be gigantic. Now, if you take Long Haul and compare him, he's probably the right size. You can see the tires. Actually, I think in real life this is even bigger. This is probably like double or triple the length, or double or triple the height. So this scale doesn't really work as a Masterpiece, but I'm still going to display this as a Masterpiece. Now, as soon as you bring in Optimus Prime, that's where things start to fall apart, I think. Let's bring in Optimus Prime here, and yeah, this is the wrong size. So scale-wise, vehicle mode does not fit with the Masterpiece line. But we'll take a look in a minute at the robot. Once we get to Devastator mode, we'll compare it and see how that looks. So moving on with the vehicles here. Here you have Mixmaster. And Mixmaster has been sort of a controversial character because the way he looks, he doesn't look like his G1 self. And in hand, he's not too bad. To be honest, this actually doesn't look horrible. I don't mind it. A lot of people say this looks like the front, or this looks like the front. They can't really tell, and they don't really like that. It's not horrible. Could be better, but I'm okay with it. You got one figure that's not the best. And he does roll pretty nicely. It looks like they painted this purple. I don't think this was painted purple on the Hasbro version. They also painted the front here, so you had a little more detail. This is going to be the bottom of his foot, so it's good that that has some paint there. Again, pretty nicely painted. A little bit awkward of a vehicle, but not too bad. And here we have Scrapper. And as far as looks go, this is probably my favorite, I think, or one of my favorites, other than Long Haul. I just think it looks like this vehicle would look. And you do have some nice silver paint here. All of these vehicles look like oh, it looks like the cab actually turns. And that's probably part of the transformation, but I don't think that was meant for vehicle mode. But the cab does turn, and then you've got the bucket. It has 2 points of articulation, one here and one here, and you can get it in some good poses. So I like that. It's pretty good. I'd say that's probably my second. I'd say these two are the best so far, as far as vehicle mode's concerned. Finally, here we have I forgot his name here. Got Scavenger. Yeah, sorry about that. I'm not good with the name here, but I do like this one a lot because it's got a lot of articulation on this, and the fact that they put this painted hydraulic here really makes it look nice. Oops, sorry about that. And you can kind of turn it and get it in a nice pose. So that's pretty cool. This is actually the best articulation on all of them. Now the bucket itself doesn't articulate, but you can get him kind of digging. It's pretty good. He does roll. He's got little wheels here, here, and here, just like what was his name? Just like this guy, Bone Crusher. Same type of wheels on the bottom here. Actually, almost even the same treads. Very similar treads. And then you got this wide wheel in the back. But yeah, this one's pretty good. I'd say this is probably my third favorite of all the vehicles. So going back here, let's kind of review. I'd say this is probably the best one out of all of them. Is the Scrapper. Then, oh, I don't know. I didn't notice this has some. Oh, it's not transformed right, so it looks like. Let's fix this before we take a look. Now this is pretty cool. He's got tail lights. Seems like the only one with tail lights. So I don't know. I kind of like this one now. Yeah, I'd say maybe this guy's in first because he's got the most articulation, the best paint, a lot of detailing. Yeah, so I'm gonna put, at least for vehicle mode, I'm gonna put Scavenger first, and then I'll maybe put Scrapper in second. I do like Long Haul, but because I know how big this guy is, it kind of detracted, and also the fact that they just didn't paint anything on the back, kind of a detriment. But also, I wish this dump truck actually dumped. It doesn't do anything. It would have been nice if they could built in, they could have kind of expanded upon what Hasbro did, but they didn't. So yeah, I think that's the order so far. And then you got Bone Crusher, probably put him next. And then Hook, probably next. And then finally Mixmaster. I think Mixmaster is obviously the weakest character. So yeah, there you go for vehicle mode. All right, guys, we're going to take a look at the accessories here. Sorry about the cutaway. I had to take a minute to read the instruction booklet and see where all the accessories fit. Now the cool part is everything fits on the vehicles. So you've got the arm piece here. It's got a little peg that folds out, and that sticks in right here on Long Haul. And that actually looks like a missile pod, so that's pretty cool that they thought about that ahead of time. Same thing for this side. Stick that in there. And now you've got some cool missile pods. Now the only thing is when you put all the rest of the stuff on, it kind of covers up the missile pods. And you can't angle these up. They're kind of, that's the highest they'll go. In fact, they only go down, they won't go up. Then you got this piece here. This is the middle of his chest piece. That sticks in right here. And that sits pretty nicely. And actually looks like a gun. So that's pretty cool. Then you've got the gun. It actually breaks into two pieces. This is Devastator's gun. You take it apart. You take the smaller piece and stick that in right here. And then you take the bigger piece, and it's got a hole on the bottom of the handle, and you stick that right there. And you pretty much got all of the weapons stored on here. You know, not too bad of a look. I kind of wish you could get these guys on there too. There isn't really a spot for them. I did see, thought maybe it would attach there, it doesn't. Sorry about that. I'm just trying to see if there's even a spot where you could possibly, potentially put this on. It's got another peg here, but no real places to put it. So I'm gonna have to say this doesn't attach in. Now you can take these off, and I believe these will attach there in the same spots, but kind of looks silly to me, having a huge flying wing off the side of it. So I prefer the guns. I mean, it just makes more sense to have rocket launchers or whatever you want to call them. But yeah, so there's that. And then you got these two pieces left over. These are the side of his chest. Now these go onto, gosh, I keep forgetting his name. Scrapper? Yeah, Scrapper. I'm getting it. Basically, there's a little peg hole here, and there's a peg right there. And you just kind of attach it almost like a wing. And now this side too. And there you go. Now Scrapper can fly. I don't know. He never flew in the cartoon, and I feel like that's kind of weird. But hey, you have storage in vehicle mode for everything. Everything stores. The only thing it doesn't store is this stuff. I haven't figured out if this combines into one super weapon and then stores somewhere. So let's get these out of here. Kind of take a look at these. It looks like they all combine. These are all the guns for individual vehicle mode. And kind of looks like they combine together. I'm gonna have to figure this out. And I'm guessing all of these guns will mount onto here. We'll take a look at the instruction booklet and see if these combine. Looks like this one is for long haul. It's kind of the biggest one, so that makes sense. Got a little peg hole right here, and you got a little peg, what looks like his arm, and just sort of slides in there. Oops. Yeah, it's much easier if you just fold it out, stick it on, and then put it back in. And that's really nice. I like that they thought about a place to store, everything. That looks pretty good. Now, let's take a look at Scrapper. This is the one that they're saying Scrapper uses. Anyway, you have to use the peg holes that you used for the side of his chest piece, and you've got you got actually two holes there. You can put in either one. Let's see, probably the smaller one. And there you go. Kind of fits on the side. Kind of wish you could have both on there. It doesn't look like you can. We'll move on to Hook here. I'm sorry, Mixmaster. looks like this one right here. And again, it attaches to the front here. So here's a peg right here on his top of the truck. And then you got a peg hole on the gun, and you just kind of stick it right on there. And that's it. And that one actually looks pretty cool. I like that. Alright, so that's Mixmaster. Here's Hook. And Hook's weapon attaches right to his hook, which is pretty neat. And he's got a sight on his. So here's his weapon. And you got a little square peg here. That's going to fit right in the side of his hook. And again, that looks pretty neat. Just a nice use of the existing pegs. I don't know if the Hasbro one has the same pegs in the same spot. I would guess due to molding they probably made it the same, but I'm not sure. That's it for Hook. And now we'll take a look at Bone Crusher. Here's Bone Crusher, and yeah, it looks like it just slides in right on the side here. And there you go, there's Bone Crusher. And last but not least, you've got the Scavenger. And let's see, I do see a peg here, so I'm gonna guess that's where it goes, but it doesn't look too good. So this one's a little weird. Doesn't look as good as the other ones, but it fits. So there you have all of the vehicle modes with their weapons attached. We'll just zoom out here. Pretty good. You know, everything fits on there, except for these, of course. I'm probably gonna figure out a way to store everything, because there's a lot of pegs on these guys. I mean, they just have a ton of places to attach stuff. And this guy's got an extra peg here. So I bet you can find a way to store everything, some combination that works. But anyways, really nicely done, really well thought out how they were going to store everything with this vehicles. So that's about it for vehicle mode. We're gonna get these guys transformed into their individual robot modes, and then we'll be right back. Alright guys, we're back from transforming these guys. They just don't fit in my review area, so kind of have them sort of overlapping each other. But the transformations were really cool. You know, they're actually really well designed figures. I'm going to go over each one individually. I kind of want to show them together. I feel like, yeah, this guy who is Scrapper? No, I'm sorry, Bone Crusher. God, I keep getting the names wrong. Bone Crusher, like, almost doesn't fit in. You know, everyone else kind of has a very consistent look with a lot of purple and green. This guy is really almost no purple, it's just all green. Kind of boring and bland. I sort of wish they made him a little more, I don't know, stand out a little bit more. It just feels a little bland. But that's not to say it's not a good figure. It's just, I'd say this is probably my least favorite. But it's still got some articulation and it's pretty cool, so we're going to go over that individually. But as far as looks, colors go, I say this guy is probably the worst of the group. But the rest of them, yeah, I kind of like them. So we'll go into each one individually and take a look at their features and how some of the extra pieces here fit in with them. Okay guys, here we have Hook, and I'm going to kind of go in order how they have them numbered in the instructions and on the box. This Hook is numbered number 1. So we'll do him first. And I do really like the way this guy looks. He's the paint on here is well done. You know, they just had just enough, you know, mixed it up just enough that it's a good variation. I believe this is different from the Hasbro paint scheme. And he really is very posable. I'd say he's a little bit back heavy, so luckily you have the hook here to kind of balance him out. But you can get him into some dynamic poses. Now, his arms, they do have a hinge here. I believe that is different from the right here. So it's two hinges. There's one here, and there's one here. So you can kind of get him. I'm not really sure why you would want to rotate at the wrist, but he's got an elbow swivel. He's got a 360 here, although he's kind of hindered by his backpack here. He does go in and out like that. The hand does not articulate. Sorry, we lost his gun here. You've also got full 180 degrees, and you can do the splits. You have a very nice ankle rocker in both directions, so you can get him in a real wide stance if you wanted to. Let's see how far he can go. So you pretty much get him in any pose you want. The head is on a ball joint, but he is sort of limited by his blocky head kind of hitting. But he can pretty much look in any direction, and up and down, and a little bit of up, a little bit of down. But really, I do really like this figure. This is actually one of my favorites of the whole group. Really posable, really dynamic, really nice paint. I love the paint job on here, and it is definitely different from Hasbro. And all in all, great bot mode. A little bit of gappiness here, but I don't really care. It doesn't bother me too much. Now the book also shows him holding this portion of the Devastator gun, so you can have him holding that. Ooh, it's really tight. Yeah, that's pretty tight. But you can have him holding that, and pretty good. This is really a good looking figure. I guess I don't understand the purpose of this. I guess wrist swivel. You know, you don't really need that. But all in all, a great looking figure. One thing that I kind of wish I had is if you could get this arm kind of up and out, you could maybe aim this a little better. But still, really nice, really well articulated and nice paint. All in all, a good figure. I probably could have done something about this, but I'm not going to complain too much. So that's about it for Hook. Now we're going to move on to Long Haul here. And Long Haul is extremely chunky, and his joints are so tight. And on purpose, I believe they, it almost feels like you're breaking it. Actually, even during transformation, I sort of felt like I was breaking it, some of the figures. Nothing broke. It's so tight, and it's so, I guess, well done that it's tight, and things fit perfectly, and their fitment is really well done on this figure. I'm just saying sometimes you kind of are worried about, is this going to break or is it okay? But I'm happy to say nothing broke. Everything was okay. There's a couple places where you want to watch out, but with this guy, he's pretty tough. Extremely tight ratchet joints in every direction. You can't get him posed a little bit. You can kind of get him, stance like that. His head does not look up, it only looks down, so not too much posability there, but you can kind of get him looking good. As far as articulation, he's got a 360 on the arm. He does have in and out here, but it's limited by the top of the shoulder. Now you can fold this down and then you get a little bit more, but then it sort of looks a little weird. It's on a hinge here that folds up and down. So if you have him sort of out like that, you can get a little bit more swivel, but looks a little funny. I think he's meant to be that way. You also have a elbow joint and a swivel at the elbow. So I believe the swivel is new on the Takara version. I don't believe there was a swivel on the Hasbro version. And you also have the legs do go in and out, but they're extremely tight. They also go back and forth. They are a little bit limited here by the skirts that are used for Devastators, so you can't go back too far. Really nice paint, by the way, on here. It's kind of a glossy. It's not really coming across on the camera, but this in the camera looks a little blue, but it's actually really a nice dark purple, and it's actually a little bit shiny. It's got, you know, a little bit of metallic flake in it, and that makes it look really nice. Yeah, so you got a knee joint here. Looks like you can get a full 90 degrees, although it looks a little weird going 90 degrees. Got a massive kneecap here. You also have ankle tilt. No ankle swivel, only an ankle tilt. So if you're going wide with him, you can get him posed real nice. And that's about it for articulation. Oh, I'm sorry. He does also have an ankle, or sorry, a waist swivel. But it's very tight, and two, is limited by this backpack here. If you take this off, you can get him rotated pretty good. And he's in a real weird position now, but he does have a nice ratcheted waist. All the ratchets on here are super tight. I mean, tighter than any figure I have. I've never seen one this tight. So that's good. But the waist swivel, you really got to take this off in order to do that. Not a big deal. But I am impressed with this guy. I mean, he was so chunky, I didn't think he'd have good posability, but he is actually pretty good. And his head sculpt, you know, his head doesn't really, it does rotate all the way, but it's not on a ball. Oop, lost his head here. It's not really on a ball joint. It's just rotates, so you can't really get him looking up or down. But still, I really like this. A lot of people have knocked this figure just because he's chunky, but I love the way he looks, especially from the front. Really well done. And this kind of looks like a smokestack. I mean, well designed. Now he does have good paint here. Just nice metallic silver, a little bit of red here. The lights here are painted red. This is the same as it was in vehicle mode. You do have the black arm pieces here. I believe that's the same. And the wheels actually definitely look better than the Hasbro version because you've got the paint. All in all, very well done. Very posable. Really good articulation. So he is number 2, the Hasbro numbering. Now we'll go to number 3, which is Scavenger. Here's Scavenger. And this is not my favorite. It's probably because of the legs, but that's how he looked. I mean, that's how his original G1 toy was, and that's how he looked. He's kind of chunky and blocky, but that's what he was supposed to be. So, you know, I can't complain too much. Sorry, I was off camera there. I was trying to see if his head, you know, looks like it should be able to go up, but you're limited here. And I'm not sure what's limiting it. Yeah, unfortunately you don't get much up. You get a little bit of down, not much up. But it is a nice figure. I do like the way they designed the feet to fold out like that, and it's pretty stable. Again, you've got the ankle tilt. You don't have ankle swivel this way, but you do have the tilt. So again, you can get a nice wide stance here, and he stands pretty good. These joints are a little bit loose, but you can pose them pretty easily. Now, as far as articulation, he does have, he is on a ball joint, but you don't get much for up and down. But it does swivel all the way around. You got a 360 in the arm. You got folding up here. You do have an elbow joint. It is actually a ball joint, so let's see. So you do get rotation and a bend. So that's pretty nicely articulated there. Nothing on the wrist. You also get full 180 on the. Oops. This tends to pop out a little bit here, so you kind of gotta push it back in. But it does. You can do splits. You got a nice full 90 degrees on the knee, and you do get the ankle swivel or ankle tilt. And that's about it for his articulation. Now the book does show him having one of the Devastator arms as a weapon. You just need to have the tab pulled it out. I find this to be kind of stupid. I don't know. I don't really like him holding a massive thing like that. It just looks odd, and it kind of weighs his arm down. Well, I guess he can hold it, but to me, it's just too big for a weapon. It would have been nice. Yeah, see, his legs are a little floppy, and that's just due to the way the transformation is. I mean, once you set him down, he's going to be fine, but I do kind of wish there was a place where you can mount these onto the back, almost like a rocket launcher. I'm looking at some of the other figures. I don't see a place where you can put this thing. So there isn't really a good spot for this. So that's why they kind of made it a weapon for some of the characters, but it's a little heavy. It flops a little bit, and that kind of disappoints me. I don't really like that. So I probably wouldn't even do that. But still, very nicely done. A nice silver here, well detailed on these two parts. You do have actually grill right there on both sides, painted, and I think that is a difference from the Hasbro. It's actually painted. The tail lights actually now make the waist piece. So really nicely painted on this figure. I like this. I like the paint. I'm not a big fan of the joints, but I do like the paint. So there you have Scavenger, number 3. Now we'll move on to number 4, Bone Crusher, and this is going to be my least favorite figure, and I'll go into that in a minute. You can kind of see that one of the problems is his legs don't stay. They want to slide down, and that's really annoying. I don't know why and this is kind of a problem too. The way this is designed is these two fit together, and there's a tab on here and a hole on this, and then they sort of kind of squeeze together, but not the best joint. And when you're trying to pose him, it looks like things just kind of come apart. So, and that's really annoying. I wonder if it locks into place. I'm sorry. You just got to pull it a little bit more. There you go. Alright, that's my mistake. It has nothing to do with the figure. Sorry about that, guys. The book is in Japanese, and it wasn't really clear that you had to really snap that in. But this is still an issue. This waist piece kind of comes apart. Let's see if I can get it back together. Yeah, this is not the best engineering right here. It's got sort of a hook on the bottom here. Let's try to get in here. look at his crotch right here. It's got sort of a hook that kind of comes over, and then these two black pieces tab together, but it's not the most secure thing. I mean, now that I fixed the knee joint, it's not that bad. But again, another really good head sculpt. All of them have good head sculpts. I can't complain about any of them. They really all look very cartoon accurate. And I think my issue with this figure is a lack of purple. They really didn't paint a lot of him. There's some detail here that's only green, and I think they could have painted it. They did paint the his silver pieces here, and that does look nice. And I do like the fact that they mixed the green with the purple to try to help break him up a little bit. But something about it, especially from the front, it's like it needs more paint. It needs some purple. But other than that, a really good looking figure. You do have, for articulation, the head is on a ball joint. You get a little bit of up and down, full 360. Full 360 in the arm. Also folds up all the way. You have a ball jointed, or it looks like a double jointed elbow. Oh yeah, you got a double jointed elbow, so you can do the full folding arm there. I really like that. This is actually a very nicely designed joint. You got it, and that's part of the transformation, but that helps you get a lot of poses. So you got a swivel at the elbow, and you got a bend at the elbow, and then you've got a double jointed elbow. So very nice. And again, this has come apart again. So this looks like it's going to be an issue. The more you transform it, the more it's going to come apart. And don't really like that. So this is definitely my least favorite figure. But as far as leg articulation, you do have a full swing, and you can do the splits. You've got a nice 90-degree bend at the knee. You do have an ankle tilt. No ankle swivel, but you do have ankle tilt there. So oh my goodness, I'm not a fan of this at all. If maybe I'm doing this wrong, if someone knows, post a comment, but it just seems like this wants to come apart all the time. I'm really not a fan of that. I think what's happening is if you bend this down, the black piece wants to bend down here too, and then it comes untabbed, and that's when it comes loose. So you kind of got to be careful when you're bending his feet and posing him. But he is very, very posable, really good articulation. I'm just not a fan of the paint scheme. That's really all it is. But overall, nice figure. Now, I think they have him transformed like this in the actual instructions, but then you've got the black piece sticking down, and that looks kind of silly. So I just folded it up to get it out of the way. And I think that looks a little better. It's kind of hidden out of the way. So yeah, not too bad. Just could have used a little more paint. All right, that's it for Bone Crusher. Now we'll move on to number 5, which is Scrapper. Here's Scrapper. Okay, and I think this is the best figure in this collection. And the reason is the color, the color scheme and the paint they used. So first of all, his chest, everything is kind of a metallic, or maybe not metallic, but a shinier silver. And even down here, the paint is kind of metallic. And then his face mask is a slightly, gunmetal gray. It's not black, and that contrast makes his head sculpt look really good. So I think as far as paint's concerned, this is the best one. This is the best figure in terms of the quality and the scheme, and the metallic paint on his legs also, that really adds to the look of this figure. So this is my personal favorite. I like the way it looks. It's definitely articulated well. So let's go over his articulation points. You do have a full 360 in the head. It does look up and down a little bit, not too much. It's limited by the fact that the head is hitting the shoulders. You do get a full 360 on the arm. It also folds up almost all the way. You have a bend at the elbow. You've also got a swivel at the elbow. I believe that is new for the Takara version. The Hasbro version does not have that swivel. And I even believe this did not bend. And the reason it didn't is because this is a key joint in the Devastator mode, and we'll show that later. But this tab was so tight, I thought I was going to break it, so I'll just show it off here. It kind of tabs in there, and it's pretty solid. And in order to open up, you really got to apply some pressure, and it almost feels like you're going to break it, but it's not going to break. It's just very tight. So really well done, really good engineering. I'm glad that they figured that out between the Hasbro version and the Takara version. So yeah, you have a swivel and a bend at the elbow. Nothing really at the wrist, although it does kind of fold out a little bit just because of the transformation. You also have a full swivel of the leg. You can do the splits. It's got a 90 degree at the knee, and you do get the ankle tilt. No swivel, but you can get a nice wide stance here with this guy, and I'm really digging this guy. I think he's one of the best as far as the care they took to design the paint and design the joints. It seems like they really spent some time on this guy. So that is number 5, Scrapper. Now we'll move on to number 6, which is Mixmaster, and this would be the final figure. And this one also, I would say he's one of my favorites. After Scrapper, I think he's maybe the second best. He also has a very good paint job and a really good head sculpt. So yeah, I really kind of dig this guy. He also is supposed to hold one of the weapons here. I think this one here. And it doesn't look too bad. It's pretty good. Kind of looks like a double blaster or something. By the way, this is all a very nice purple. As I look on the camera, it looks more blue, but it's definitely the right color purple as far as I'm concerned, with the cartoon. But yeah, this guy, he does really look good. I'd say one of the fatal flaw with this guy is his, B high, his B behind here kind of looks like a stinger. Maybe some people like that, but it's kind of weird to me, because if you have him posed, now you got this weird butt sticking out. But all in all, I think this is the second best figure of the set, just because of the paint job and the articulation and just the look of the head sculpt. It's a really good head sculpt. And as far as articulation, you do get a swivel. This is on a ball joint, but again, limited by the pieces around it, so you don't get too much up and down movement. You get a little bit. The arms do a full 360. They do kind of fold up, but limited by the headpiece here, so it kind of gets stuck. You have a elbow swivel, and actually it's a kind of a double jointed elbow. I believe this is new for the Takara version. There's a piece inside here that rotates, and then there's another, so you kind of get a double jointed elbow, and then you can do something like that. So that's really well done. That's very nice engineering there to have that double joint. And I can't remember if the Hasbro one had that or not, but well thought out. Kudos to Takara for doing that. As far as the legs, you've got full splits here. You got kind of rotation all the way back. He's limited by his beehive here, but you can kind of get him back. He does have a knee, 90 degree knee, and a ankle tilt, so you can get him into some pretty good poses here. And I really like this guy. I think they did a good job. So I did leave out one feature here. I just want to go back to long haul here. Long haul is able to hold the larger piece of Devastator's gun, so you can kind of get this in here. And you know, I kind of left that out. That looks great. You know, it's, by the way, these are again the same color, purple, and hopefully when I produce this the colors come out right, but right now it's looking a little blue. Anyway, this gun looks awesome with long haul. It's chunky and big, and he's chunky and big, and it matches perfectly. So I really like the fact that they allow you to use the weapons. I think I also left out one other weapon combination, and that's for Scrapper. So we'll go back to Scrapper here for a second. And you basically can use these, sorry about that, you can use these side chest pieces as weapons, almost like an axe. So he can sort of double wield these. Let's take a look. And really a well done figure. Alright, that's it for this part of the review. We're going to get this guy combined in Devastator mode. That's going to be a different video. I'm going to make that into a second video here. So we'll just kind of give you one last look at these three guys here. And you can go ahead and click the link in the description below to see my second video. I'll probably get that out either tomorrow or the day after, so that link should be up and working soon. But that's it for the vehicle and robot mode review. Next we'll do Devastator review. Definitely leave me any comments. Go ahead and leave me some questions if you guys want me to look at something in particular or review something in particular and show that on camera. Now is the time to do that. Comment on this video, and when I post the Devastator video, I'll try to answer any questions that you guys have on the Unite Warriors Devastator. Alright, thanks guys. See you in the next video.